list. I'm also not driving, don't worry about that. For that, we got the man, the legend, our driver, Ronnie. Everyone say hi, Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. Without Ronnie, we'd be parking for like 3.5 hours. But we're not going to be here for too much longer. We're going to be hitting the road in no time.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
What's the story? Well, there's this pirate. I'm sure Captain give me word.
The problem most men have is they just plain straight up have no clue how to talk to women.
What's happening, hot stuff?
Kind of cute to see.
Thank you.
Look how cute you are.
That was great. Could you help me?
In this one time at Bankia?
Houston, we have a problem. We're on a mission from God.
Hey, bud. Let's party.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
He hates these cans! Come out, wherever you are.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
It's only the beginning.
We belong dead.
What do they got in there, King Kong?
Get these people out of here. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
They opened Disneyland in 1956. Nothing worked. But John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
Well, it's nice to find a fellow with a keen sense of humor.
Are you finished, Mr. Slade?
No, I'm just getting warmed up.
Say hello to my little friend.
Every time you bed down for the night, you'll look back into the darkness and wonder if I'm there. Some night I will be.
Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scouts. And I want my scouts. Who are you?
I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus.
And I'm Tim. Hi, welcome on board, everyone. I'm going to be your guide today. With us today is your driver, Ronnie. We also have a co-host of the world famous Studio Tour. You may recognize this guy from his shows That's My Jam or The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide. And the greatest driver.
Ronnie.
They're the best. I love them. Even though owes me $5.
What?
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Yeah, that's right, Jimmy. We do have a few safety rules. First and foremost, if you're in need of assistance of any kind, whether it's a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the vehicle, or if you're having any video or audio issues, you want to reach up, grab the little red cord that runs down the center of the ceiling of the car. That is the emergency cord. If you pull on that, we'll stop. I'll be back to help you as soon as it is safe to do so. Otherwise, for the remainder of the tour, please remain seated. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. I do want to remind everyone, there's absolutely no smoking whatsoever on the tram, but you do want to have your cameras ready. Just be aware there will be sudden tram movements, loud sounds, fire effects, and water effects. Make sure your cameras stay dry. Also, for your safety and the safety of those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while on board today. Alright, enough of the rules. Let's get to the tour. Welcome on board, everyone. What a beautiful day. Just out of curiosity, who here has never taken the tour before? Any first-timers on board? Got a few here, there, pretty much a lot of the front car. Who here has been here before, but it's been like a really long time? Yeah, welcome back. And who does this all the time? Me and that guy. Alright, welcome. That's awesome. I can tell you guys are repeat offenders, if you will. Well, whether it's your first time or 101st time, we're going to have some fun here today. We're heading down into the studio and away from the theme park for the next 45 minutes or so. On our way down, you're going to notice these movie posters on our movie studio timeline. These represent just a small fraction over the over 8,000 movies we made here on our property in over 1 century of filmmaking. That's a lot of movies, right? None of these would have happened if it weren't for our founder, Carl Lemley. Good old Uncle Carl's the guy there in the bow tie under screens. He moved to the United States in the 1880s and brought with him the American dream of one day having his own business. He found himself first in the city of Chicago. He had a few small businesses, a few Nickelodeons, which is actually an early movie theater, and then eventually he founded Universal Pictures in 1912 on the East Coast. But a few years later, he had brought his company out west and founded Universal City on March 15, 1915. We're still our own city. We have our own zip code, 91608, our own post office, our own honorary mayor. It's Ronnie, our driver. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. We also have our own fire station here on the right-hand side. Ooh, the doors are open. Cool. I love firefighters. I used to want to be one, but then I found out I was afraid of heights and fire, so now I just like to look at the trucks and wave. So let's wave. Hi. I love you. Okay, bye. We also have a sheriff station up on City Walk. We have medical facilities, daycare facilities. We have a gym I don't go to. We have 3 Starbucks, a coffee bean, and the giant theme park. But our town is missing something that your town has. Residents. Yeah, no one lives here. Rather than having residents there, we have thousands and thousands of movie and television professionals that come here to work almost every single day. A lot of those people work here in the front lot. This is where the headquarters for Universal Pictures is located. It's also where the majority of our sound stages are. There's pretty much giant buildings that we film inside of. There's a Peacock original show which films here called Bel Air, starring these 2 guys, Jabari Banks and Ollie Charlton.
You just got me water when you get. So what is you put egg on the cheese? You put cheese on the eggs and on the cheese. That's right. Whoa, how many seats do you think are in there? No, it's gotta be a lot. Man, we could probably fit the whole Bel Air cast and crew. No, we gotta get one of these for nature. For sure. You're lucky for y'all. The Banks Family Mansion lives right here on the Universal lot. Right. Some of Bel Air's most pivotal scenes have been filmed right here. Jabari, what have been your most memorable moments? I don't know. I mean, there's so many to choose from. You know, I remember before your set where Will first enters, and at that moment, his life changes forever. What about you? Well, the Bel Air Academy gym set is here too, and I remember you having me sit in that cold ice bath for hours. Yeah, and that was real. I still can't feel my toes. No, but seriously, my favorite part of this lot is the talented crew who put it all together. Hair, wardrobe, makeup, set design, props, and transportation. Yes, yo, Transpo's the best. And they got the smoothest rides for us to play with. Actually, speaking of, if we're gonna get a ride like this, we'd better go talk to Transpo now and let these people go back to their tour. Yeah, that sounds good, man. As long as I get to drive. Oh, not if I've got the keys. Oh, nothing wrong. Oh, man.
If you haven't seen Bel Air, you should definitely check it out. All seasons currently available on Peacock. That's our streaming service. It's a dramatic reinterpretation of The Fresh Prince. They film inside of sound stages 7, 8, and 14 over here on the left. A couple of my favorite movies have also been made on the inside of Soundstage 14. Back in 1982, a classic called The Thing with Kurt Russell was made in there. Super scary movie. It takes place in Antarctica. We don't want to go to Antarctica, so we just pump that building full of air conditioning, right? Doesn't need to be real. It needs to be believable. About 10 years after that, Steven Spielberg did the exact opposite in there and built a tropical rainforest for Jurassic Park. You remember Jurassic Park, little Timmy was in the Jeep, the trees are breaking the branches all the way down. All that scene filmed inside that building. So think about that. That scene takes place outside at night in the rain in a Costa Rican jungle. None of that stuff is real. That's how realistic we can do these movie sets. And it can be for a Universal movie, of course, but I'm also going to be talking about stuff made by anybody who can utilize this space. And we got more space than any other studio in Southern California, so they come out here all the time. Recently, though, to the right, I've been working on a few other Universal productions you might know, like Quantum Leap with Raymond Lee on NBC, Killing It with Greg Robinson, also on Peacock. And there's a show that is yet to air on Peacock. I believe it comes out here in about 4 months or so, called Ted TV, that filmed over here. Do y'all remember the movies Ted and Ted 2 with Seth MacFarlane and Mark Wahlberg? The television show they have done is a prequel. It's set in the 1990s, so Mark Wahlberg's not coming back and playing a child. That'd be very strange. But Seth MacFarlane is coming back and playing Ted the Teddy Bear, standing over here on the left-hand side. Ted is also standing in front of some pretty cool buildings. The bungalows on the left used to be dressing rooms for Hollywood's biggest stars. I'm talking people like Doris Day, Rock Hudson, Jimmy Stewart, Lucille Ball even. That's because all actors up until about 1960 would sign a contract with one studio at a time, and usually it was a 5 or 6 year contract, so their dressing rooms are practically apartments that they had on the lot. We don't work on that same contract system, so these are now office spaces for some of the top writers, directors, and production companies in the business. Companies like 7 Bucks, to the left-hand side, that's Dwayne Johnson's production company. You also have Illumination Entertainment out here, that's the animation house about Despicable Me, Minions, Secret Life of Pets, new Super Mario Brothers movie. You also have Mark Platt Productions. Mark Platt creates musicals on the stage and screen. He created Wicked on Broadway. His office is down there to the left next to the Wicked Globe. He's also working on a movie adaptation of Wicked starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And probably the single most famous office to the left, number 5195, that is Sir Alfred Hitchcock. Recognize he had the inside of just all over the place. Expanding more than we have built into 7. So yeah, first thing to film there. Fun. Dance. Will and Grace, 3 seasons filmed in there, and currently Lopez versus Lopez and his daughter Maya. Alright, we're up here. For instance, you might recognize Brownstone Street over here on the right as Buffalo, New York. Almighty, but Jim Carrey.
Close the door!
That's where Bruce lives. That same street was featured as Old Chicago in The Sting with Robert Redford and Paul Newman, one of our Academy Award winners back in the 1970s. That's also the same apartment used in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Macaulay Culkin. Remember he goes to his uncle's place, gets lost, end up going up to the roof, throws the bricks down. I was all right there. So not only can you change the city, like I said, you can change the time period. Go to the past, or maybe even go back to the future. We're on the same exact road that the time travel DeLorean got up to 88 miles an hour, was struck by lightning, and sent back to the future in 1985. Or 55, depending on how you're looking at it. Welcome to Courthouse Square, which was Hill Valley, Back to the Future Part 1 and 2, with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. As we come to a stop, take a look over to the left, you'll see the City Hall, which was the clock tower, although it does look very different. The 4 distinct columns are still there. We just built another wall in front of it, so you stop recognizing the clock tower and everything. This was not built for Back to the Future. In fact, you saw it about 23 years prior to Kill a Mockingbird with Gregory Peck. So the courthouse of the Kill a Mockingbird is the clock tower, Back to the Future. It's the same building. The right scene of Bruce Almighty filmed out here, clear as day, in the background is the clock tower. That's why we change it. We don't want you to recognize Back to the Future and every other thing made out here. So we just built another facade in front of it. A facade is just the fronts and the sides of a building. Most of these don't have any interior in front of it. A facade is just the fronts and the sides of a building. Most of these don't have any interiors, which is great, because that means we can recreate entire cities without having to build the entire building. We are now on our New York street. It's a lot easier to film in our New York than the real one. Just ask Jimmy Fallon. He does the Tonight Show in a real Big Apple.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. An old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
And there are countless movies, television shows, commercials, music videos even that you would recognize that have utilized these Metropolitan sets over the last 80 years. A couple of my favorite superheroes have been out here. Captain America, the First Avenger, this is 1940s New York. Spider-Man's been out here a few times. The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield. My Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, did Spider-Man 2 around the corner. They can also see this as a frozen over Gotham City in Batman and Robin. That's where George Clooney's playing Batman and Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Dr. Freeze. You might remember it because that's the movie where he says all those horrible ice puns like, alright to everyone, chill, and he freezes everyone. That's because you can change these buildings. It can look very comic booky because none of the brick and stone of our facades is actual brick or stone. It's all made of fiberglass. So you can peel off the brick, put up something different, you can destroy it. It's a lot easier to rebuild. That's why a lot of action movies are filmed out here. Michael Bay, he did Transformers, a big end scene where they're blowing up Los Angeles. Now they're blowing up the Metropolitan sets, right? Because you can do that. You can do whatever you want. And we've been doing that kind of stuff for decades. That's what John Landis did for the Blues Brothers back in 1980.
When the Pinto fell and you saw it land and make this big hole in the street, that was on the back lot. We dropped it from a crane. You dig like that in Chicago, not a good idea.
When people ask me of all of the movies I've ever done, what was the most satisfying, the most fun, I've got to say Blues Brothers. We got to sing, we got to dance, got to drive, and trained with the best stunt people in the world, and got to be an actor and a writer. So it was a good piece of work.
Danny called John America's Guest because just you walk into anybody's house.
During the shooting of the movie, John was missing. We couldn't find him.
Danny went off looking for him and saw a light on in this one house and knocked on the door.
I said, sir, we're doing a movie down here. We're looking for one of our actors. Oh, John, yeah, he's on my couch. He came in, he had a snack a couple hours ago. He's sleeping. He was America's Guest. I mean, literally that happened.
So, yes, actor John Belushi did just go to somebody's house, take a nap, have himself a nice little rest. But remember, nobody lives in Universal City. Nobody lives in these buildings. So that happened when they were filming in Chicago. We call that on-location filming. A lot of your favorite movies and television shows will film all over the world, right? But certain things you can't do in the real world, like John Landis is saying, destroy the streets. So they filmed out here. I want you to go home and watch the movies I've talked about so far and try to figure out what filmed here and what filmed in the real cities. It's nearly impossible, especially now. Back in the early 80s and, even all the way up until around 2010, most of the cameras they couldn't pick up a lot of definition, so we had to do a little bit more tweaking to these movie sets, because even our cell phones could pick up a lot of more definition than our professional cameras could. These are camera ready, HD ready, if you will. So you don't need to change any of them to begin filming almost immediately. That's what they do for American Ninja Warrior and NBC. They just come out here and build their giant obstacle course and don't change the buildings at all. Because they don't need to. They're not worried about the buildings. They just want to make sure they're not blocking off 4 city blocks of traffic. Because it does take a long time to film even just one episode. For instance, for American Ninja Warrior, it takes about 2 days to build the giant obstacle course, 2 days to film, and then 2 days to tear everything down. We call that striking the set. If we filmed in downtown Los Angeles, that means 4 or 5 city blocks would have to be blocked off for almost an entire week. If you worked on that street, you wouldn't be able to have traffic going by. You'd probably have to park 3 blocks down and walk all the way up. And if you lived in one of the buildings, you would have to do the same thing, except you couldn't get to your own house. And we film at night. And I don't mean like 5 p.m. night. No, we're out here at like 2 a.m. screaming as loud as humanly possible. We don't want to go in somebody's neighborhood and do that if we can help it. We're going to do that out here. And that's why a lot of those big action movies will do that as well. You can have explosions, flames, fire, gunfire out here as well. In fact, they did all that sort of stuff for that superhero movie I mentioned, Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, they did that about 12 years ago, so I'm going to spoil that movie since it's been so long. Not the entire thing, don't worry about that. But when Chris Evans is playing Steve Rogers, the little itty-bitty guy, he's chosen to become a super soldier for the United States. So they take him to a very secret basement lab in Brooklyn. Disney did not build that in a basement in Brooklyn. Didn't build them in a basement of these buildings or a basement of any building. That was actually inside of a soundstage in the United Kingdom, across the Atlantic Ocean. Because when you're making a movie, you got hundreds of people. It's not just the actors. There's literally 4 or 5 times as many people behind the camera that you don't see. So, rather than move everyone around the globe, if you're filming most of your movie over there, that's where you're going to build all your sets. So they actually built that inside of a soundstage. As soon as Steve becomes a big, tough, tall super soldier, they exit the lab. They're now on the streets of London. Again, because the streets actually look a little bit like 1940. The car chase scene that they filmed happened right outside here in the Metropolitan sets. Specifically when he's running down the street barefoot, chasing after the Hydra assassin inside the taxi cab, jumps on the roof. They're twisting and turning, doors are flying off, guns going off everywhere. Now, I typically don't tell my tours this, but I'm going to tell you this because I like you all. Chris Evans, or Steve Rogers, I should say, Captain America, is running down the street barefoot at 30 miles an hour. Chris Evans is not running down the street barefoot at 30 miles an hour, right? He's actually wearing a harness that is pulling him down the street at 30 miles an hour, right? He's also not barefoot, because what happens if he stumps his toe and breaks his ankle? You can't film for the next 6 weeks until he is healed up. He's actually wearing shoes that look like bare feet. And it's the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life. If you Google it, it's very, very weird. Now, that is just one, of the biggest movies that has been made out here. But some of your favorite stars, all the way back to, like I said, the 1940s have been out here. Clint Eastwood has been out here as a performer and as a director. In fact, one of the most famous scenes he has ever done that I'm sure even the kids would recognize, Dirty Harry, when he says, "Do I feel lucky? Well, do I, punk?" That filmed right outside here for Dirty Harry. Now, you might be thinking, no, that filmed in San Francisco. Yeah, about 99% of that movie did, except for that one scene which filmed out here. Because when you film out in the real cities, certain things you can't control, like the rest of the world. So if a plane flies overhead or a car honks in the background and you don't catch it on set and you hear it later on when you're editing your movie, what are you going to do? Are you going to have Clint Eastwood come back in, re-record everything, and you're going to do it all in one day? It's going to be a lot quicker and a lot easier. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of people working there on set, because it's literally hundreds and hundreds of people that are going to be making a movie or television show come to life. I'm going to see if I can't pull up a video for you to show you what I'm talking about. Now, you might have seen this before. This is called a clapperboard because it claps in front of the camera, because you have the sound crew and the video crew that are recording separately, but the editor needs to put all that stuff together. So they're going to use this to pretty much sync everything together and make that all happen. A lot of what we see here is our on-location filming. But like you see, we've worked with some of your favorite directors, Spike Lee, Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg. And another is Academy Award-winning Peter Jackson, who's worked with the theme park as well as the movie studio for decades. Here he is to tell us a little bit more about what's coming at the top of the hill.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to do it. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
We are in for an adventure, y'all. Please remain seated, keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle, hold on tight to your personal belongings, and no flash photography, alright? Feel free to take the flash does nothing but blind everyone around you and Ronnie, our driver. We don't want that. We're going to be taking this Dark Haven tunnel directly to the home of King Kong here in just a few moments.
We really put a lot of thought into the character and personality of Kong, and he's so much more than a monster. In fact, he's not a monster. He is an incredibly majestic, ancient creature. He's a force of nature. He's old, he's wise, he's proud, he's fierce, and obviously he has a heart. The most important feature of Kong are his eyes. Kong's eyes are wonderfully expressive. They're full of emotion. His eyes are like a window into his personality and his heart. He's had an enormous number of encounters with his foes, the T-Rexes and the various dinosaurs on Skull Island, so he's been beaten up, scarred, chewed up, spat out by these dinosaurs at various times, and he wears the scars of a lot of ancient battles. The Universal Tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife of Skull Island.
And as you can see, the wildlife, they're big, they're mean, they got a lot of teeth, so make sure you keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Welcome to Skull Island. is King Kong 363D. Alright. Is that cool or is that cool? That's pretty cool. Alright, y'all, go ahead and take off your 3D glasses. Just don't lose them, they're very expensive. I'm joking, you're gonna need them a little later. That epic battle was produced by director Peter Jackson and the filmmaking team y'all found called Weta Digital, now known as Weta Effects. You've definitely seen their work before. The folks over at Weta have won 7 Academy Awards for their work on movies King Kong, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, James Cameron's Avatar, Avatar The Way of Water, and Disney's The Jungle Book. And that's just what they won Academy Awards for. They pretty much worked in every big movie the last 20 years. Not only have you seen their work, now you can say you've seen them. You remember when the T-Rex grabbed our train and pulled it onto screen? There were people in that car. The people in the car? The folks over at Weta Digital. They put themselves in the attraction. And you might be thinking that I'm lying because you saw children. Those are actually Peter Jackson's children that he put in there as well. He likes to put them in his movies. He put them in this as well. The tram that we saw is a great example of what we call a picture car. That's any vehicle you see in a movie or television show, right? It could be a tram, an actual car, a train over here on the right. As long as it appears in the movie, it's a picture car. Some are going to be giving your audience a lot of information, like a time period. You put a bunch of 1980s cars out there, we know it's in the 80s. You put a location-specific vehicle, like a double-decker red bus, we see that, we think of London. Yellow taxi cab for New York City. 80,000 Teslas driving around, you know you're in LA. But sometimes you need to create a vehicle for your movie. It's like a character. And some of the most famous picture cars we've ever seen have been driven around these streets over the decades. We want to make you think that the actor is actually driving the car. Typically it's not, right? Unless they're pulling the car up to the camera and you see their face, usually it's a trained driver, somebody like Ronnie making it all possible. And Ronnie's making it possible for us to see some of these picture cars in person. So have your cameras ready. Point them over here to the left, and as we pass the sign, we'll start with the Yellow Deuce Group from American Graffiti. That was George Lucas's movie before he did Star Wars. Magnum PI's Ferrari is actually a Volkswagen. It's built to look like a Ferrari. The one that looks like Bumblebee is Bumblebee. My favorites are the flying cars from Back to the Future Part 2. It's when they travel to the very futuristic year of 2015. Go to the past of the Flintstones of John Goodman and Rick Moranis. Got those out here as well. Warner Brothers gave us the Harry Potter flying car. They had over a dozen of that car, and they all look different, because when you're making a movie, you want to make sure that if it looks different, it's different, so that way you can go back and film before it was destroyed, just like that car. The gyrosphere from Jurassic World isn't missing the glass. That was all done digitally, that way you don't see the reflections of the camera. The Fry's van from Jordan Peele's Nope came out just last year. And this tank-looking thing is a Bradley assault vehicle used in Transformers. It's lean, mean, and made of wood. Yeah, it's mostly wood. If you have a vehicle that's not being driven, it's probably not going to have an engine. But that would still be extremely heavy, so you build it out of wood, that way easy to pick up and move, and also easier for Michael Bay to do what he loves to do and blow that thing up about 14 different times. A real explosion like that in a movie is what we call a practical effect. Practical just means it's there. It's actually on set. It's real. It's not digital. It's practical. It can be a flame, an explosion. My personal favorite, animatronics, robots. I have 2 favorite Universal movies I talk about. I have Small Soldiers, which is kind of an obscure one from the 90s. It's like our Toy Story. Animatronic action figures come to life and destroy a neighborhood. And another used one of the largest animatronics ever. I'm sure you're going to recognize this movie.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, the T-Rex in Jurassic Park was over 30 feet tall, but sometimes move on its own, which is terrifying. All 3 of the original Jurassic Park movies had amazing special effects like that, but they also had amazing set pieces and picture cars. That's what we're looking at right now. You might recognize this double RV-looking vehicle on the left. That's the Mobile Lab you saw in the Lost World Jurassic Park with Jeff Goldblum, Julie Moore, and Vince Vaughn. Just like the Bradley Assault vehicle, that is also made mostly out of wood, made a little bit easier to not only move, but push off a cliff from this scene. Uh-oh. Oh, no, oh, right in the mouth, gross. Oh, they're going after everyone. Looks like everyone gets attacked today. I'm so sorry. If you thought those were back, you're left with a big guy. Ooh, skip car 1. Who's gonna get? It still hasn't gone. Yeah, it's build up pressure. Whoever it's gonna get bad. I'll count it down for you. 3, 2, 1. It doesn't do anything. You're fine. Could you imagine? That would hurt. That would not be good. When we were making Jurassic Park, we didn't just film here, right? We'll make movies all over the world, including the big ones. A lot of Jurassic Park actually was made in Hawaii. The issue was, when we were in Hawaii, everything had to be shut down for about 2 weeks because a big tropical storm ran through, which is exactly what happens in the movie, but we don't want to film it a real one, right? We want to take a sunny day like this and turn it into rain, sleet, snow, Sharknado. Here in Old Mexico, we're going to show you how we create rain for our movies just like we did for Jurassic Park. Typically, though, when you're on set, you want it to be super quiet and only hear your actor's voice. All other sounds, even their footsteps, are going to be added later on as a sound effect. We're not recording actors, so we're going to add our sound effects right here to set. That's where our thunder comes from. We do have a bit of lightning. It's a big strobe light, pretty easy to do. And we're not going to block out the sun. We're going to use that to light up our rain. I have to activate the rain from up here, see if I can do it loud enough. Presto. And just like that, you have a rainy day. We get our rain by using a super high-tech, sophisticated system. It's called sprinklers. Yeah, that's all it is. I want you to clap just like I did on the count of 3. So 2 claps on the count of 3. I'm going to wait for the thunder to stop. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Didn't work. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Where's all the water? Sorry. Oh, there it is. That is okay. That is okay. Just hold your breath. Don't worry, y'all, not an actual flood. That's a result of thousands of gallons of water being released from giant tanks just like this scene in Big Fat Liars, starring Paul Giamatti, Vanda Bynes, and Frankie Muniz. To my friends who know Frankie Muniz, Malcolm in the Middle, Agent Cody Banks. He has since retired from acting, but he is now a very successful race car driver. What a life. This area of Old Mexico was seen as Mexico in Nacho Libre, starring Jack Black. This is also the pirate city of Tortuga, Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. So a lot of your favorite movies are going to reuse the same area of Universal. They'll just change it so much we're not going to recognize it. You might recognize this road, though. This has been seen in more movies than any other set on Earth. You might recognize it, though, from a recent Quentin Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo has great scenes in and around the saloon there to the left. Leo, like he's my friend. Mr. DiCaprio has great scenes in and around that saloon. Pretty much any time they're on the Western Movie Set, it was all right here at 6 Points. If you have not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you got to check it out. Just remember, it's Tarantino, so, you know, it's very rated R. There's a much more family-friendly movie that was made out here recently called Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford. In the beginning of that one, you see Buck the dog just running through his hometown. That was right here at 6 Points. Now, y'all, we are, give or take, about halfway down with our tour. This is just a reminder. If you need my assistant, that red merch cord is hanging above your head. Give that thing a pull. I'll be back to help you. Otherwise, please remain seated. Keep your arms linked inside the vehicle. 6 Points, Texas does have the saloon, which is a practical set, meaning it does have an interior. But any one of our movie sets can have an interior for a movie. You would just build that properly inside of a soundstage. As long as your actor's wearing the same costume, we think it's connected to each other if you edit that footage together. The soundstage in front of us can't build anything in there right now that is completely filled with The Voice. The Voice has been very busy working on season 24. A couple of returning familiar faces this season. You have Niall Horan from One Direction. He's come back from previous season. You also have John Legend and Gwen Stefani. They've come back from previous seasons. But brand new for season 24, Reba McEntire as a coach of The Voice. It's been very fun. Now, those are probably the busiest sound stages we have because of The Voice. But the newest sound stages we have are all the way at the end of the road. We're not going to drive all the way down to those stages. If we did, we'd actually be closer to Warner Brothers than the theme park. Shows you how close we are to Warner Brothers, but also how massive Universal is. We're 400 acres, still have plenty of land to use for more projects coming down the pipeline. A couple of shows that filmed down there include the Universal-produced Hacks with Gene Smart and Loot with Maya Rudolph. Both hilarious shows. Rather than travel all the way down there, we're going to take our train up through Little Europe, and I adore Little Europe. These are also quite old, dating back to the silent film era. One of the biggest silent movies ever made, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Lon Chaney Sr. was made out here 100 years ago. Our first Best Picture winner, All Quiet on the Western Front, 1930, filmed out here. The very following year, we invented the monster movie. I'm talking Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, The Invisible Man, which celebrates its 90th anniversary this month. But as we make our way up, I'm going to guess a few of you are going to start to recognize this not as Europe, but as The Good Place in The Good Place, with Ted Danson and Kirsten Bell.
You know the show's from like this. This location, the afterlife, I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
So before I talk about The Good Place, I want to give you a little insider knowledge. As a tour guide, there are certain rules that I must follow. If we're making a really big movie, I can't acknowledge it. I can't point it out. I can't say anything about it for security. They don't want people jumping off and trying to find Brad Pitt. If we're making a television show, I can usually say they're filming whatever show in Little Europe, but I can't show you or tell you exactly what they are filming that day because they don't want it to be spoiled. I'm not, however, mandated to say I like something if I don't like it. So if I share an opinion with you, I want you to trust me that I'm being honest with you and it's actually my opinion, not the company's. The company does mandate I don't share my negative opinions about stuff. So I gotta trust that you all won't get me fired. Can I trust you? No. But I'm going to give you an honest opinion. The Good Place is one of the greatest shows ever made. It is so good. It was created by Michael Schur, who also created Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was a writer-producer for The Office. So if you like that kind of humor, you should watch The Good Place. But you gotta watch it in order because it has one story through the entire thing, and it comes to a perfect and planned ending at the end of season 4. It'll make you laugh, cry, and everything in between. It's available on practically every streaming service, including Peacock, so you'll be able to find it pretty easily. And like I said, it's just one of my favorite shows and want more people to see it like I do. Now, Denver Street that we're driving on right now has the oldest standing original sets. The sets here on the right-hand side date back to the silent film era, and they're completely original. Location as well. Everything else in the studio has either been rebuilt or moved, but not Denver Street. One of the main reasons of why everything is moved is actually our studio tour. We add attractions that kind of take up a lot of space. The Flood's been here for a very long time. We used to have Parting of the Red Sea on the other side of the body of water. We had a mummy tunnel. But the second oldest attraction that's still around, I'm going to say, is probably going to be here for another 100 years. It's where we're headed next. Welcome to the iconic Amity Island. Now, you might remember Amity. It's pretty well known for its boating and fishing community and little shark problem over the years. Now, we found another shark yesterday. That's why the beach is closed, but I know the guy in charge. It's my buddy George. I'm going to ask him to open up the beach for us so we can dip our toes in the... Never mind. That's a big shark. We're going to go ahead and stay in the tram. We're not going to go in the water. Where's George? Anybody see him? That's not him in the golf cart. Where's George? He's in the water. George! George! You okay? No, he's fine. He's fine. Ronnie, he's dead. He's fine. Okay, we're gonna pull forward next to these gasoline barrels. What it says here, the safety manual. Ronnie, I didn't read the safety manual. Okay, we have paid attention. It took the whole dock. It took the entire thing. What is going on? Hey, y'all, don't touch that. That's gasoline. Don't touch that. Oh, that's warm. It's expensive. It's like $8 a gallon right now. Ooh, I don't know what to do. Do we just wait here? Nope, we gotta go. We're gonna need a bigger tram. Congratulations, everyone. You just survived Bruce the shark. Good old Bruce. I'm gonna hang out the window. Don't tell my boss. Hi. Hey, I got a question for everyone. I don't care where you're seated. If you yell at me, I'm gonna hear you. What kind of shark is that? What is that?
Great white.
No, it's plastic. That's a plastic shark. You're right. It's a plastic great white. Our plastic great white shark works a lot better than the one that Steven Spielberg used. Here he is talking about.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrated. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all. Wherever you were on time. We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited. The shark were well enough for a while there. So I did own the shark a lot.
Our shark is named Bruce. He's named after his father, the original shark used in Jaws. You can see here eating Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg named his shark Bruce after his lawyer at the time, Bruce Raymer, who's actually still his lawyer today. Steven Spielberg filmed the majority of Jaws on location in the Atlantic Ocean and the surrounding neighborhoods of Martha's Vineyard. For a movie, filming in a real neighborhood's not that big of a deal because you might only need the house once and only for a week. But for a television show, you might need it every week for years. So that's why they typically film in a residential house here in the backline. No one who lives in these houses, do whatever you want as long as you want. Pretty famous house to our right is the best little whorehouse in Texas, Chicken Ranch, excuse me, not a coop. Notice it is a full practical set, second floor included. The only difference between this house and yours, this one has no plumbing. Because we never build what you don't use or see, like the plumbing or the inside of their neighbors, right? You don't go inside the neighbors, so you don't build it. Just build the one wall you see from the windows, and our imagination builds the rest. Whole other street of residences we get to see today. This is called Colonial Street. You might recognize it by a few different names, huh? This was Mayfield Place in the Burbs with Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher. One of my favorites, Small Soldiers, filmed out here in the 90s. It was where Whipsnap Manor was at Casper with Justina Ricci. It was Nellyville with Nelly and Kelly Rowland in the Duluth video. It's recognized around the world, however, as Wisteria Lane from ABC's Desperate Housewives. Practically every single episode of that show used this road. Even though it was made by a different company, ABC Disney, Universal gave Desperate Housewives complete exclusive control of this road, and no one else was allowed to use it while they were on the air. That is how important this road was to them. My favorite behind-the-scenes story of Desperate Housewives is that the crew found so many termites inside of Mrs. McCluskey's house, 1438 on the right-hand side, that they had to tear it down. The writers heard that the house was going to be demolished, and they said, don't rebuild it right away. Let's destroy it for the show. Now, in the show, it doesn't have termites. There's a big tornado, which comes to Wisteria Lane, but only hits Mrs. McCluskey's house. That shows you a great example. Sometimes things will happen in real life, and we'll just kind of write the show around it and make it a little bit more interesting. The same exact thing happened at the end of season 1 of Superstore on NBC with America Ferrera. A big tornado goes through their store, but in real life, we tore down their soundstage and rebuilt Super Nintendo World. So they just rebuilt their set and wrote it into the show. The final episode, the series finale of Superstore, filmed using the gray house on the right. They never go in the house, though, mainly because it has no interior. It does, however, have a giant tree growing out in the middle of the house. It's an endangered tree we just built around. The yellow house on the right, that's where Davy and her family lived all 4 seasons of the hit Netflix show Never Happily Ever, created by Mindy Kaling. Light blue house on the left is the Cleavers and Leave It to Beaver. And the light purple house on the right, the Munsters and the Munsters. So literally decades of your favorite families have lived on the same road, sometimes even inside the same house. But hopefully we change it enough or enough time has passed so you don't recognize it. I was also recently given permission to talk about a movie that filmed here earlier this year called Candy Cane Lane, starring comedy legend Eddie Murphy. It's an Amazon original movie. I believe it comes out December 1st. That's Candy Cane Lane. That's the main neighborhood of the show, and it looked phenomenal. I only got to see these first few houses decorated, but it was beautiful with all the Christmas light they had, so be sure to check that movie out. Not all of our filming locations need to be an entire neighborhood like that, or even a building. We're driving on a filming location we call Wilderness Road. We're the only studio that has stuff like this, right? Nowhere else can you go to the middle of nowhere while still being inside of a studio. So, you know in your favorite crime show and they find a dead body in the woods? They're actually just finding some guy holding his breath off the side of this road. I'm talking CSI, NCIS, Criminal Minds that are out here all the time. Netflix, they did an original movie out here called Bird Box with Sandra Bullock. That's a monster movie where you can't look at it, so she's all blindfolded going miles and miles into the forest. No, 3 feet away from this road. They just don't turn the camera around, because if they did, you would see San Fernando Valley and Hogwarts Castle, and it becomes very confusing at that point. Now, y'all, we got about, I'd say, 15-20 minutes left of our tour. Once again, just a reminder, if you do need my assistance, that red emergency cord is hanging above your head. Give that thing a pull, I'll be back to help you. Otherwise, please remain seated. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. As we reach the top of this hill, we get a chance to see some more picture cars, but unlike the first batch, these are not labeled, so I'll point out a few that you might recognize. There's a green Mini Cooper used at Mr. Bean on Holiday with Rowan Atkinson. The police car is Decepticon Blockade. Tame one in the back is a Duesenberg featuring the Mummy and the Mummy Returns, the Academy Award winner Brendan Fraser. And the ones up front are from the Fast and Furious franchise. Dominic Toretto's Black Charger are probably the most recognizable. The newest Fast and Furious movie, Fast X, is currently streaming on Peacock, so if you didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, you can see it from home pretty easily now. Fast and Furious is one of the most successful film franchises of all history, and obviously for Universal Studios. But I would say the most iconic movie for Universal is where we're headed next. Welcome to the Bates Motel. Yeah, welcome to the iconic Bates Motel at Mother's House at the top of the hill from Alfred Hitchcock's hit thriller, Psycho. How's it going now? When Alfred Hitchcock first came to Universal Studios, it was for his television show, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. He then used the same exact crew from his show to make Psycho. That is why Psycho is considered to be one of the most unique-looking movies, as well as most terrifying. The original Psycho house up here at the top of the hill was only built with the left and front-hand side, but Mother still lives up here, so we built the rest of the house soon thereafter. And Norman's home, too. Oh, no. He's not supposed to be home today. I'll talk to him. Norman, great to see you. Wasn't talking about... Okay, I'm so sorry. Keep going. Keep going. He's got a really big knife running. Always walking towards the drain. No. Not again. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. Whew, that was close. You know what? He seems a little upset. Let's just hang out in his backyard. Welcome to the massive 747 crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, and Joseph Chadwick. That's a real 747 that was used to make this set come to life. Here's production designer Rick Carter and Steven Spielberg talking about it.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep pressing me. Listen, man. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Now I'm closed. Robbie, get in. Get in.
And that's about all you see of this plane in the movie. It's less than 5 minutes. But for Steven Spielberg, how long you see something really doesn't matter as long as it stays in your mind. Think of the shark in Jaws. We don't see it a lot, mainly because it wasn't working, but it stays in our mind the entire time. We're thinking about it. There's suspense and there's fear. Same exact thing for them. Now, Steven Spielberg donated that set to us here at the Tram Tour. That's why we're able to see it now 18 years later. But another Academy Award winner gave us this next era just 1 year ago. Welcome to the actual set used in Nope, written, directed, and produced by this gentleman, Jordan Peele.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Planet, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Jupe Park. Over there, look into the Winking Well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, gold rush frontier town, lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the beautiful hotspot. Welcome to the world of no.
Sorry, I always seem to be having some power issue. We're going to go ahead and get out of there. If you haven't seen Nope, you got to check it out. It is a gripping science fiction thriller from Jordan Peele. It's the third movie that Universal Studios has done with Jordan Peele, and they're all phenomenal. Here's the thing. They don't want me to tell you what's going on because they're afraid you're going to panic. You promise not to panic if I tell you? Yeah, not a lot of confidence in that answer. I'm just going to tell you, we're being chased by somebody, but don't worry. A few minutes ago, I received a message from an Agent Hobbs of the Fast and Furious crew. He said that there's some witness aboard our train being chased by a bad guy named Owen Shaw. Originally, the FBI was going to take over, but he said to pull into here so the Fast and Furious crew can look after us instead. So please remain seated, arms and legs in the vehicle, and don't panic, because if you panic, I start to cry, I fall apart. Oh, yeah, hold on. Let me put you on the screen so they can see. Go ahead.
My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you from Shaw for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot.
Alright, look guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
Alright, well, you heard him. We gotta take this real serious. So while we're in here to camouflage yourself with ringtones, like she said, we gotta blend in with whatever party they got happening. Okay, well, you know the whole blended in thing I just said, just try your best, okay? Try your best. boss, the FBI. You know what? I'm not gonna let. Let's just wait here. Let's wait here.
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. And where
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move.
Damn.
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Hey, it's
Right next door.
But I want you extra safe and put on your 3D glasses. We'll use those as a makeshift eye protection. Looks like we're pulling into a parking garage. So if the bad guy shows up, we have to put the pedal in the metal and get out here. We have no other choice. So please remain seated. Hold on to those 3D glasses on, because things may get pretty fast, pretty quick.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
After that!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. This man ain't going faster. Roman, let's hook him up.
You're getting away! Put in the drones!
Way to go, Lenny! Drones lining up the missile shot! Not gonna happen! Don't worry, I got this! Robin, don't shoot! Head for the bridge! Under construction! Everybody hold the line! Hit the nitrous! Run and die!
One of the most epic chases of all time. Is that Fast and Furious or what? Good driving, Ronnie, as always. Alright, y'all, go ahead and take off your 3D glasses and let's take a look at this message I just got from the crew.
Protected the witness and you can resume breathing. I know it's crazy out there. You guys ride hard. What's that?
You know, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
Alright, part of the crew. The family. That is Fast and Furious Supercharged, the grand finale of our studio tour. We're going to get you all back to the theme park here momentarily. But thank you so much for coming out to the tram this morning. Absolute pleasure to share it all with you. Well, afternoon now. A special thanks to our annual pass holders on board. I know we have a few familiar faces here at the tram. If you'd like to become an annual pass holder like them, it's very easy. Just take your ticket up to the Universal box office at the center of the park. They'll show you how to change your ticket into an annual pass so you too can come back and join us again and again. If you haven't already, you should also download the official Universal Studios Hollywood app. It'll help you out a lot today. Confirms that we're open until 6 p.m. Gives you all the showtimes for Water World, wait times for the rides and attractions, and much more detailed information on how to visit Super Nintendo World. All that's on the app. If you have any questions or just want to say hello, I will be available once we get off the vehicle. Once again, my name is Tim. I'll be the goofy-looking guy with the mustache waving at you. Just come on over. I'd love to chat. On behalf of Ronnie, our driver, myself, and everyone here at NBC Universal, thank you so much for coming to Universal Studios Hollywood, the entertainment capital of LA. Here in just a second, one of our Studio Tour ambassadors will be over to open up the gate for us. Once they do, please watch your step, deposit those 3D glasses into the bins provided for them, and as always, have a fantastic day. It looks like we're going to be exiting our vehicle before the one next to us leaves, so when the gate is open, please exit to the left, go behind this other vehicle, and I'll say on the other side. That's a wrap, y'all.